Let's be real for a second. Most of us hate complaining. It just feels awkward, maybe even a little rude. But what if I told you there's an art to it? A way to complain that isn't about starting a fight, but about communicating clearly to actually get what you want. Today, we're going to break down how to turn a really bad experience into a productive one.
You know that feeling, right? That sinking pit in your stomach when you get home, you unbox your shiny new gadget, and it's broken. It doesn't work, or it's just completely wrong. It is a universal moment of pure frustration.
So to see how this all plays out, let's follow someone. Meet Alex. Alex just splurged on a new pair of headphones, was totally pumped to use them, and nothing. One side is completely dead. We're going to follow Alex's journey from that first moment all the way to getting a real solution.
So what's the very first thing most of us do in that situation? We don't usually march right back to the store. Nope. We find a friend, a partner, basically anyone who will listen, and we just let it all out. This is the informal complaint, and it's all about just expressing that initial frustration.
It pretty much always starts with a simple text to a friend. Something like, "You are not going to believe this. My new headphones are already busted. This is so annoying." And notice, Alex isn't asking for a solution here. This is purely about getting that frustration off their chest.
And as they text back and forth, you can feel the frustration building a little, right? It's not just a minor annoyance anymore, it's genuine dissatisfaction. I spent good money on these. I'm not happy about this at all. Yeah, we've all been there. And finally, we hit that point of just complete exasperation. Because now Alex has to deal with going back, talking to customer service. The whole thing is a hassle. And the perfect way to sum up that feeling? What a mess. Okay, the venting has served its purpose. Now it's time for action. All right, the venting is over. Alex is ready to actually solve the problem. But this is the tricky part, isn't it? How do you actually contact the company without immediately putting them on the defensive? Well, the key is to start politely.
Think of these phrases as like keys to unlock a productive conversation, starting with something like, "I'm sorry to complain, but," or "I'm afraid there is a problem with." It immediately signals that you're just a reasonable person who needs some help. It sets a collaborative tone, not a confrontational one.
And here we go. Alex is putting it into practice. They get on the phone with customer service and start with, "Excuse me, but there seems to be a problem with my new headphones." It's the perfect opening move. It's clear, it's direct, but it's also really respectful.
But what if being polite just doesn't work? What if the person on the other end is totally unhelpful or they try to deny there's a problem? Well, sometimes you have to escalate. This is where you shift from a polite request to a strong, firm complaint.
Look at the crucial shift in language right here. You go from that gentle, "I'm afraid there is a problem," to the very firm and direct, "This is unacceptable." All the ambiguity is gone. You're making your dissatisfaction crystal clear.
Okay, these are your power phrases. They get across just how serious the situation is without you ever having to raise your voice. Using a phrase like "I'm very disappointed with" expresses real emotion, but it keeps the focus on the business problem. And here's the key. Being strong isn't about being rude. It's about being firm. So after getting the runaround, Alex has to escalate. "Listen, I've already explained the issue. I'm very disappointed with the quality of this product, and I need a resolution." Wow, you can really hear the difference, can't you? The polite tone is gone, and the demand for action is unmistakable.
So we've covered Alex's side of things. But what about the company on the receiving end? How they respond is just as important. Because, and this is amazing, handling a complaint well can actually turn a furious customer into one of your most loyal fans.
This is the million-dollar question for any business, right? When Alex calls frustrated and disappointed, what's the ideal response that can de-escalate everything and make them feel heard and valued?
Believe it or not, it's actually incredibly simple. It really just boils down to a two-step fix. Number one, you have to genuinely apologize. And number two, you must offer a concrete solution. If you miss either of these steps, the whole thing falls apart.
The apology has to come first, and it has to sound sincere. A simple, "I'm very sorry for the inconvenience," validates the customer's frustration. It tells Alex, "Hey, we hear you, we get that you're upset, and we acknowledge we messed up."
An apology without action is, let's face it, just empty words. So that second crucial step is offering a path forward. Phrases like, "We'll fix the problem immediately," or "Let me check on that for you," are so powerful because they shift the conversation from the past problem to a future solution. That's what really brings a customer's confidence back.
Okay, so we've walked through Alex's entire journey, from frustration to resolution. Let's pull it all together into a simple, practical toolkit that you can use anytime you need to make a complaint and actually get results.
This chart really brings it all home. See, you start with that casual vent, just to get it off your chest. Then you move into a formal request to politely start the process. And if that doesn't work, you've got the urgent demand in your back pocket to escalate. The real art here isn't just knowing the lines, it's knowing when to shift from one gear to the next.
So the ultimate takeaway is this. Complaining isn't just about being angry. It is a communication skill, and when you master the language, from those polite requests to the firm demands, you empower yourself to navigate these tricky situations and get the outcome you actually deserve.
And that brings us to a final question. For you, now that you have this new toolkit, think about your own life. Is there some lingering issue, some poor service or faulty product you've just been letting slide? Maybe now's the time to do something about it. So, what will you speak up about next?